Coming up in this episode of the new Haverlock Hunters.
I went in there, I was very nice, like you are to women, and then she was nothing but rude and rather foreign in her demeanor, and so I threatened her with violence, and then she rang the bell on me, tattletale, naughty woman, and basically I was about to crack the case before I was cracked open myself.
I am apologetic of my colleagues' actions here. However, we are here to gather information and potentially help in the recovery of the missing paintings.
Horsemaster, would you mind stepping out a moment?
Yes, I would mind. I will be moving rather slowly. Maybe we
Yes.
go towards the fireplace or something. I've
No, we'll
just been
step
stabbed.
outside.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm a delivery boy detective here, investigating a murder.
Are you trying to say you committed the crime? Says one of the people at the copper
No,
mask.
I'm trying to
A frog
find out-
committed this crime. It explains the
No!
climbing.
I'm trying to figure out who did the crime.
Now, which crime is that then? Just to make sure, not the crime of who
Well,
ate all the flies.
This is the biggest botch I've seen in my entire career to date.
Sister, please. Sister, it's time. It's time.
Oh,
You must come out from the leathers.
And now, for our feature presentation. Three centuries ago. Dark days for the people of the Old Kingship. In those days, the roads were stalked by dogmen, the nights were ruled by vampire, and the woods belonged to the Fae Things on the hunt for lost children. Meanwhile, the kings of Old Haverlock waged war with their neighbors, seeking vainglory, and abandoning their people to fear and suffering. Of course, that was all before the flintlock, before blood thaumaturgy, and before the hunters. The first hunters came from an unlikely handful of fishing villages. Their tactics were crude, but with each generation their craft was perfected. Within 100 years, hunters would drive the dogmen south, tame the vampire, and convince the Fae Things to leave our world. With their success, the fishing villages flourished, and had turned into a small city. But all was not well, for while the commoners rejoiced, High King Gors grew jealous. From his seat of power in Old Haverlock, Gors declared war on the city. He boasted that he would meet the hunters in the field and destroy them. But the hunters did not meet the High King in the field. Instead, they met him in his bedchamber, where they put a bullet in him. The line of Old Haverlock was dead. The city was free. And so, to fit its newfound place of prominence, the city took on a new name. New Haverlock. Since then, New Haverlock has ascended to the forefront of trade and heavy industry, but wealthy as it has become, New Haverlock is in peril, and it is the hunters alone who can save the city. Let's hope they don't fuck it up.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the Wizard Hall, and welcome to New Haverlock, a tabletop role-playing mystery game where usually 5, but this time 4 unqualified misfits attempt to solve mysteries in a post-fantasy 1900s-esque city. Let's go around again and say who everybody is. Now that we're back, this time we go the other way, starting, please, with Kay.
I'm Steve Jobs, and I'm still dead.
Hello, my name is Joe Rogan, and I've just been nearly fatally stabbed, and I'm playing the character of Horsemaster Youngster Newborn.
I'm Mr. Ivor Nectin.
And I'm Jeff Bezos. Yes, the Jeff Bezos. And I do play this game. I'm Valencia.
And I'm
copper.
Peter Schmidt. I'm the DM. Again, just Peter Schmidt, not a billionaire, but I'm trying to make it there by hanging out with these other billionaires. If you were watching before the intermission, we have just gotten ourselves in a sticky situation where upon investigating the...
Because he's a glue baron.
The glue baron has gotten a sticky situation. While investigating the mystery at Catboy Manor, the glue baron became convinced that the resident artist Callier Bonheur was the perpetrator of the crime based off zero evidence other than that they thought their paintings were cringe, and everybody must therefore think they're cringe, and she must have committed cringe murder. He attempted to assault her and was disarmed violently by Pierre the bodyguard, brought within 1 hit point of dying. The treasured cocainum syringe he was holding has fallen to the ground, and the room is now overseen by Callier, who is massaging her wrist, Pierre, who is ready to fight the rest of you if need be, Valencia and Chadwick, who are standing at the ready, and Lieutenant Captain Cummins, who is standing at the door. Eggbert, meanwhile, is off down the road investigating for
Clues.
Suddenly, apparently, once again, the most sensible person in this entire assembly of people, being well away from the scene of the drama.
That's true. The person who'd be best here to disarm Pierre, especially after Horsemaster has been disarmed himself, would be Eggbert. But Egbert's going and looking at shoes and footprints.
I'm looking at footprints and horse tracks.
So
and
let's-
what if they dropped anything on the way to the road?
What if they did? Now let's go to the room noises. That's too much. This noise inside. All right. You were about to say something, Lieutenant Captain, before we stepped away.
Pierre, did you literally just stab an officer of the law, straight through the chest?
I am not sure how you do things down here in your Augustradi countries, but in Vishta we give 3 warnings when we are on our master's homeland, and when their patrons are being harmed, I gave 3 warnings. The man did not disarm and the woman was in distress. I think I was in my rights.
We are not in Vishta. We are...
Unfortunately.
Indeed. Now, my colleague was obviously interviewing the suspect.
With a hammer, you call this interviewing?
I don't care to comment about the practices of my colleagues. Again, I do not have full knowledge of the situation. She could have been threatening him. In any case,
I do not see your hand going toward that truncheon, lawman. Should I put my knife away, or are we going to fight?
fight. Why the heck would we fight?
Very well. He puts his other dagger away as well. And he crosses his arms behind his back and says, "Let us talk then."
Valentia, can you check? I'll check if our man's alive.
Yes, check on him, but is it truly out of your imagination to suspect that
Valencia,
our Horsemaster here would
please
behave?
One moment.
A little girl slips out from under Horsemaster's robe, crawls over, picks up the syringe, and then crawls back under the robe, looking around but wearing a copper mask, so it's impossible to see her face.
Come on, this is who is representing us? Are you truly surprised that such a thing has happened? That is
You're
all I am
alive,
going
by
to
the
say.
way. You're barely conscious and on the floor, but you're alive.
Does he?
I speak then.
You can with a rasp.
Does he?
Sister, please. Sister, it's time. It's time.
Oh,
You must come out from the leathers and
is it time
glue-
to put Horsemaster out of his
glue
misery
my
finally?
chest
I
back
shall do it.
together, sister. Glue my wounds, please.
The little girl steps out from under the robes and starts unfastening the horse robes. You see that the massive shirt and the two tight pants underneath made of some unknown leather and silver stitching. And then those come undone, and then a bare chest bursting forth from the two tight pants, covered in hair and what else? Scars and glue?
Yes.
She rummages around, and then the single piercing, bursting blood, she takes one of the sprayers, sticks the nozzle inside the wound, and then starts spraying. Can you roll 2 dice for me? Now, every wound can only have first aid performed on it 1 time.
1 hit.
You heal 1 wound as 1 hit point as the horsehair-filled natural glue fills into the wound left by Pierre's sword.
That's the good stuff.
And the blood comes out milky pink for a moment before being staunched by a copious amount of glue backing up and sputtering out of the wound.
So he is stabilized.
He is now stabilized, yes.
Not being out. Okay, that's a good move. That's a start.
Sister then starts putting your clothing back on you. You hear a whisper in your ear like, "Oh God, I thought you were going to take me off. Thank you for putting the shirt back on. Only 14 days left until we are one, my friend. Please don't take me off for 2 weeks."
I hear you, and please stop talking. It's quite painful.
Okay, I'll stop talking to you. That's fine. Let me know when next
Shut
you
the
need
fuck
me.
up. Please. Shut the fuck up.
Apologize. I apologize.
No.
I already said sorry, the pants say.
I'm going to burn these clothes.
Don't burn them, please.
I thought you would help me, and now
If
I'm...
you put me on, if you're not
almost
going to wear me for
fatally
2
stabbed.
weeks, make some child wear me for 2 weeks. I know you love children, and they do what you say.
This is a good idea. I will consider it if you are silent until someone else fucking please speaks in this interaction.
Yes, okay.
So we all hear Horsemaster saying
Yes,
these things
yes,
to
talking,
the
yes, but you don't hear the other side of it, no.
Cool.
And then Horsemaster is fully clothed again, Sister is inside, and you are able to get back to your feet.
Is he talking to the child?
You're injured badly. You're in a lot of pain, and you will take a -2 to all dice rolls because of the pain. But if you want to get back to your feet, you can. Now, if you want to pretend to still be injured and lay on the floor, you can.
Sure, I will stand up, but I'll be leaning heavily upon the small bones of Sister.
Who is still, with both hands, clutching the tiny amount of safe area in the Caucanum without stabbing themselves or you.
Well, Pierre, it seems you're a lucky man.
I never miss, sir. Except, I suppose, when I missed to capture the 5 people as they escaped down the river.
Now, Pierre, I must say, as a fellow person who is not particularly fond of the Horsemaster, I do admire your work here. Now, I should not say that in front of my colleague.
Can I hear any of this?
Talent plus genius. Because you're talking low, but not.
Yeah. I'm not particularly trying to hide it.
Are you broadcasting it?
Finish your
I'm-
thought, though,
yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Now, I am apologetic of my colleagues' actions here. However, we are here to gather information and potentially help in the recovery of the missing paintings, which I know certainly must be a source of distress for your, I guess, mistress. What is
Patron?
Patron.
No, or master.
or like with the paint? I mean, even just like.
Oh, you're talking about
the painter.
Callier?
Yeah, I mean either way, you know.
Callier or Holt? I guess, Callier,
Like,
Holt.
well, I get like Holt is
Holt is
slash
dead. Hector is, like-
Hector is Pierre's employer. Though,
Yeah,
right?
patron, yeah.
Yes, like we are ultimately here to serve the interests of your patron.
Okay,
right
give
here.
me what you see, Lieutenant Captain, is that Valencia goes over to speak very closely to Pierre, who's listening intently. Give me charm ×2.
Only one hit, but I did get one.
Pierre looks at you, says, "I do not trust you or your organization. I will do what Hector tells me to do, but I will help no further. I will figure this out myself if need be," and looks away from you. Everyone hears that.
So, Horsemaster,
Yes, sir.
one moment, please. Would you mind, Pierre? I'll just quickly check what.
She sits down on the bed with Callier and starts looking at the wrist that Horsemaster was holding for any bruises or damage. Valencia Chadwick, I guess you just
Now,
you make yourself busy while they take a second.
Yeah.
yeah. Horsemaster, would you mind stepping out a moment?
Yes, I wouldn't mind. I'll be moving rather slowly. Maybe we
Yes.
go towards the fireplace or something. I've
No, we'll
just been
step
stabbed.
outside.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So you step out
Help
of
me
the,
out.
out of the room onto the landing.
Yep.
Okay. Do you close the door behind you?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So, Horsemaster, what did you mean to achieve?
God, she clearly did it. I can't tell this whole thing. I went in there, I was very nice, like you are to women, and then she was nothing but rude and rather foreign in her demeanor, and so I threatened her with violence, and then she rang the bell on me, tattletale, naughty woman, and basically I was about to crack the case before I was cracked open myself. A bit of good, proper policing, I think.
Please.
You should be proud.
Why do you think she was the prime suspect?
Because her work is so horrible. You must be so humiliated. The depression bleeding out of her. You could feel it. I mean, in person, she was rather proud and annoying, but I bet underneath she was depressed or something to blow those lights out or something. We know that little vampiric man said something about he had to be so depressed,
So,
it must have been her.
first, unfortunately, we rather now know what caused the lights to blow out.
Good
It was
God.
nothing to do with emotion. And secondly,
Well, what was it then?
apparently, a botched attempted chaos artistry.
Oh my, and when were you going to tell me this?
Well, we were investigating downstairs before you
Wow.
vanished.
Okay, so you left me high and dry in a moment of need then? I was about to start screaming.
It probably would have been better if you had.
Well,
Now,
I can't be sure you would have backed me up now that you didn't tell me all the information.
in any case,
There are some people in my life who talk to me constantly,
we have noticed that you've been holding conversations,
Don't we all? Pardon?
rather one-sided ones.
Yes, I met a friend. I won't tell you about him. Or them, I'm not sure. Everyone's
Are you,
up
are
in
you
arms about this. Good
do you-
Christ.
a Horsemaster? Might
Yes,
you need
sir.
to talk to somebody about these?
Trust me, I'm
potential
talking
issues.
to enough people as it is. Listen, fine, if you don't accept my hypothesis, that's fine. But frankly, silence, sister! Frankly, what you're telling me is that really this whole thing was your fault. So, I'll happily accept that answer and we'll go back to the case.
Now, rather not. Especially because we now have two important witnesses who are totally uncooperative. So if you are going to threaten somebody on our time, please make sure it's not a harmless young woman, because it tends to look rather badly, and it does end up getting you stabbed.
Listen, you're sounding a bit like an old codger yourself right now.
Well,
And
I am an old codger. I've seen people do that kind of job, and this is the biggest botch I've seen in my entire career to date.
Okay. So that part comes through the door clearly. Valencia,
So wait, am I on?
you're in the room still, like making yourself
Yeah.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
so,
door's closed to the landing,
Apologies if I blew out anybody's ears with this.
but you
Yes.
hear that yelling from the landing as you and Chadwick just like look around this wretched room.
Yes, and I think I too am feeling some type of way, particularly via Horsemaster's actions. So
Okay.
I would like to cast a spell to. So sister is what, 12, 13 maybe?
How old is sister?
Your guess is as good as mine. She's about this years old.
Yeah, that high. So about 4 feet, 3.5 feet high, 4 feet high. But who's to say if
Okay.
that's the malnutrition or the age?
Okay. Regardless, I would like to age sister up by a significant degree.
You make her much older.
Yeah, you know,
Oh,
10,
okay.
10 plus years at
Okay,
least,
that's
you
a
know.
very powerful
Yeah, yeah.
spell to cast, but we could do it. I would say that would be Ooh, probably like a force 8. It's very strong.
Okay, wait. So okay, maybe not.
Maybe-
Perhaps then I
Would you like to increase her aging? Like, instead of aging her all at once, like maybe make her age much quicker or age her a smaller amount of degrees?
Perhaps
maybe make Horsemaster's
think perception, yes.
to think that she's aged.
Yes.
That's
that is what I
easier.
am. That is
Let's
what
call
I'm
that a
looking for.
force 5.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay, so can I get a magic times 2?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how are you? You have to have line of sight with the individual. Are you looking through the keyhole, or do you open the door and do it whilst looking at him?
I think I open the door as though I am,
Okay.
entering the room.
Magic
Play it
times
off.
2.
Okay.
So you manifest a fear of aging, a perception of aging, perhaps
Yes.
a perception when you used to see wrinkles before you stopped aging in your own skin, and it terrified you. It made you fear deeply.
Yes, I actually hearken back to puberty, believe it or not. The horror of the bodily change that occurs, the unwanted attention, yes.
Okay, so what did you roll?
4 hits.
Do you want? Remember, I want to remind everybody they can roll pride. People never do it. Do you want to roll pride on this, or are you good?
I
with
feel
those
like
hits?
4 hits is pretty good.
Okay, that's great. So, Horsemaster, can I get a pride plus magic roll from you? I'm sure you have no magic.
Magic, but quite
So
a lot
just
of
pride.
pride. So.
Now, again, you can add pride to this roll if you want to. Oh, and you take a -2 because your injuries.
Okay, so I had 6 pride. Now I've only got 4. And then what would be adding pride to
You
this
add
roll?
your full pride to it, and then you turn rule of 6 on.
Fuck it, no. 3 hits.
3 hits. Okay, so with your 4, the 3, you manage to slip past this proud person as you manifest the thoughts of puberty into the brain, but on the mask of Sister, who you can only imagine what they look like, so you sculpt the worst version of it possible, I presume.
Yes, I assume I only saw the copper masked face. I have not seen
I think only Eggbert's actually seen Sister, flat out.
Okay.
So, and it slips past the defenses of Horsemaster. And the next time Horsemaster looks at them, they won't be able to unsee the changes taking place. Now, it was a Force 5 spell. So now the overwhelming feedback of going back to those terrifying emotions impacts you. So yeah, can I get a charm plus pride to resist damage? You're taking potentially 5. What is your magic?
4.
Okay, so because it's over your magic score, the damage will be physical, will be be
okay.
lethal damage.
Charm plus pride.
Charm plus pride.
Okay. 3 hits.
3 hits. Okay, so take 2 lethal damage from the impact of this. Now, Horsemaster, you feel as though another gust has come through your whole body. For all you know, it's your pants. Again, next time you look at Sister, however, you have been enchanted. Now, Valencia, where do you just walk down the stairs? Because you opened the
yes.
door to look at them.
No, I open the door and I sort of cast a spell as I'm moving through. I may, sort of hang on the perimeter to observe the scene going on. I don't think I remove myself from the situation.
I understand.
But
Everyone else is too distracted to even roll
so
to see it.
I enter the room. I, surreptitiously cast my spell, and then I wait in hopes that it will take effect right away, which it may not.
It may not. It'll have to wait for Horsemaster to look.
Yes.
So you just yelled at Horsemaster, and now everybody's here around you. Give me a pride times 2 roll at that -2. Now, can I get a... Now, this is against this, though, first. Can I get a charm plus genius plus 4 roll? So that's, charm plus genius plus 4 against your pride times 2 minus 2 for your injuries. How many hits did you get?
2.
2 hits. So now we have to see if the shouting at you impacted through above 2 hits or not.
So what did you say?
Charm plus genius plus 4.
4 hits.
4 hits. Take 2 morale damage, Horsemaster, for being yelled at and feeling bad about it.
Might I have?
Now that morale damage, how much morale damage have you taken now?
Morale damage? Have I taken any morale damage? I thought I was taking lethal damage.
You were before.
Yes.
Have you taken any morale damage before?
No.
Okay,
and,
so you're at -2. If you take a single
okay.
other morale damage, you'll be at -3 to all dice rolls.
Okay.
So it hurts when he yells at you.
Yes. Listen. Now, while I may agree that yes, it is your fault, I agree it is a botch, okay? I see all of our team is in the hall. -1 large member. Listen, what's the recourse here? I've got a gun, you've got a gun. Do we just kill them or what?
They are important witnesses.
Not
They
to a
have
crime I've committed. They have to go, I
No,
think.
they're- You have committed no crime. You might have gone slightly overboard in your interrogation, and it is
I like
something.
your thinking now.
It is
no
not.
matter what, I commit no crimes.
Heal 1 morale damage for that. And now let's move the scene to Eggbert. You've been following a lot of tracks in a lot of different directions.
Yes.
You have found yourself on the footsteps of many manor houses that have shooed you away. And you've now made your way down to what most of the hoof prints and cart prints have taken you over some hills, mostly across cobbles, to the hillside docks, down near the canal that is directly across, but a good distance from Brandy Block. I will admit, there have been a lot of tracks and a lot of horse prints, and you aren't totally sure that you're in the right place, especially because a lot of your decisions were based off of people shooing you off their property. But you have found yourself in the hillside docks now, where a number of hillside eyes are investigating a specific series of docks. Now, down here, the hillside docks are a little bit like the salt pans, but much nicer. The buildings.
I don't know if they're nicer. They're
Well-
just drier, and people like that more.
Exactly. They have a lot more ornamentation, but they're less lived in. In
There's not
this
enough
nice way.
slime.
No.
Where's that briny smell?
The Brandy Block. The Hillside Docks is the only part of Hillside that feels a little bit like Brandy Block. It's a bunch of buildings pushed together. Not really that many warehouses, but a few storefronts and a bunch of apartments where some of the middle class people live. There are no poor people that live in Hillside. The Hillside, but your tracks take you, and you are peeked to a bunch of Hillside eyes who are standing importantly in front of a dock that has been roped off with hemp.
Oh, it's the guys with the masks. Go up to them, and I say hello. My name's Eggbert. I'm a delivery boy detective here, investigating a murder.
Are you trying to say you committed the crime? Says one of the people at the copper
No,
mask.
I'm trying to
A frog
find out-
committed this crime. It explains the
No.
climbing.
I'm trying to figure out who did the crime.
Now, which crime is that then? Just to make sure, not the crime of who
Well,
ate all the flies.
It's a good scene. What can I...
Well, I'm trying to find an ugly painting. 2 ugly paintings.
2 ugly paintings.
Yeah.
Are you
they
talking
were
about
stolen-
Master Hector on Calbatross Manor?
Yeah.
So you did steal them then?
I'm
They step
trying
forward
to
a little
find
bit.
who stole it. I don't know why you keep accusing me. Jeez,
They
we're
do
on the
say-
same side.
They do say that people often return to the scene of the crime. Can I get a genius?
I'm not at the scene of the crime.
Can I get a charm?
I'm at the dock.
Get a charm. That's good logic. Charm times 2 plus 2 to convince them you didn't do it.
Man.
You can add pride to it if you want.
What do I do with pride?
You add your full pride roll to it and then turn on rule of 6.
I got 1 hit.
So what do you say to convince them?
Well, first of all, I'm not at the scene of the crime. I'm at the docks. So I didn't go back to the scene of the crime.
Blast.
Also, I've never
They've got
been
us on
here
a technicality.
before.
Well,
We're on the same side. Jeez.
do you show them your badge?
Yes.
They look at the badge closely. They say, well, I don't believe this without some humane here to explain to it. That might be a froggy fraud right here. Is that the crime perpetrated? They
No,
they
it
start
wasn't
circling
fraud.
around
It
you.
was theft and murder. If you knew that,
You admitted to the crime then.
my guy didn't. I'm saying what kind of crime it is.
You know a lot about the crime for someone who didn't commit it.
Yeah, my job is to solve the crime.
And what's your job?
To solve the crime.
Do you
I'm a
have-
delivery boy detective.
Do you have any proof?
I just showed you my badge.
They turn around, they go, "Well played, Frogman." And they kind of all look away from you and go back to their posts and go, "Well, go about your froggy business then."
Well, what's going on here?
We're blocking off the dock
Why?
because the perpetrators stole a skiff from here to sail across to Brandy Block, where our hillside eyes were apprehended trying to pursue.
Oh, that's cool. That's new information. That's really helpful, you guys.
Well, we didn't mean to be helpful, but
did
I
they
guess it's
steal
next.
it or did they? Yeah, they stole it, right?
Walking up behind,
Did we
a man
find-
with a mustache
did
goes,
you-
"It was my skiff they stole, the Lucky Darling, which I suppose should be called the Unlucky Darling, being how it was stolen from me. But I, with the insurance money I've put on it, I assure myself that I'll become quite rich, and with the interviews, I think I'll become quite famous. Now I'm a responsible man, interested in meeting even the froggy folk. Hello, my name is Sir Reginald Richington Luckyman."
Hello, Mr. Luckyman. I don't think you're very lucky with your bolt being stolen, but you know, I'm glad you're looking on the positive
I
side.
like to turn even the most unfortunate circumstances into lucky rich circumstances. When my
That's
wife
amazing.
cheated on me, I sued
That
her
sucks.
and made a lot of money. That's how I,
I don't
got
know
my
if that's
fortune.
how suing works, but that's cool. Do you know anything about Hector Catman?
Hector Catman?
Yeah, the guy that really likes cats.
I've never met a hecking
the
Catman.
guy that really likes cats. That's rich. He's got a lot of weird paintings. Do you know him at all, Hector?
Give me a charm times 2.
I have no charm.
Good luck then.
I got a critical glitch.
Goes, "Oh yes, Hector, the man who's fucked in the head, got kicked by a donkey when he was young. Now he hides in the trench coat of his older brother, Hecky. Yes.
This wouldn't shock me in a lot of ways, but I think we're talking about a different person.
Well, that's the only Hecky I know, and the only...
Well, his name's Hector, not Hecky.
Well, I said Hector and Hecky.
He lives down there. I forgot his dad's name. I think it's Hal. He died recently.
And how I wish I could help you, but I'm waiting for an interview
I'm
about how
interviewing.
rich and lucky I am.
Yeah, I'm interviewing right
And this
now.
character
We're having
I-
an interview.
And this character I just made up wanders off and leaves the scene.
Thank you for the information.
Yeah, the cops go, "Well, that was helpful, I think."
Okay, well, what does the boat look like?
Well, it looks like a skiff. It's just a small boat that
Okay,
has a
well,
little sail.
okay, sure, but this guy's got a lot of money. You're telling me he didn't like make it nice?
He made his money because his wife cheated on him and then he sued her. How much money does he really have? He lives in one of these apartments. It looks like any of these other skiffs.
Fair enough.
He points
fair
around.
Enough, fair enough. Okay. Is there like a way to identify the boat? Is there a number on it? Does it have a name on it?
Well, we never thought to ask. That's the first time we've seen the man.
Oh God! I find the man, chase him down.
He goes, "I didn't expect to be seen again in this story. Are you here to interview me, Frogman? Was it
Yes,
just
I
stealth
am. I
interview?
would love to know more about your boat. Does it have a name or a registration number or any way of identifying
A
it?
registration number? Who needs all that bureaucracy here?
That's
in
a
the
fair
hillside?
point, sir, but I would just really love to know if I can identify your boat.
Well, I
different
was
from other
saving up
boats.
to inscribe upon it "rich man's boat,"
Okay,
but I
did it
only
actually
had
say it?
I only had the money at this point to write Rick on it.
Rick? All right, amazing. And that's it? Does it
It's-
have any colors?
Every letter of calligraphy is very expensive, you see.
Okay, well, does it have any other colors
It
on
was
it?
painted white when I originally bought it.
Well, what is it now?
Well, it's more of a gray.
So it's gray and says Rick.
It says Rick, but remember that's for rich man's boat
Of
one
course,
day.
sir. I'd love to hear that. Any other distinguishing marks of your boat?
No, but I have a question for you. Do you have any money? I've fallen on hard times.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm a 12-year-old frogling.
Well, maybe
I
I should.
have. Wait, hold on. I dig in my pockets, and I pull out part of a sandwich from the initiation. Would
Well,
you like
beggars
one
can't
of-
be choosers. I'll take it,
Exactly,
please.
sir. Here,
I
have
can't
a
wait to eat
sandwich.
this frogfish sandwich.
I love to hear it.
And he takes the ham sandwich and he wanders off, and then goes and sits behind a dumpster.
So how far is Brandy Block from?
Well, if you swam across the canal, not very far at all. But if you wanted to go up to one of the crossings by bridge, you'd have to walk for quite a while.
Okay.
There's only a single major bridge that connects Hillside to Brandy Block. It's actually the only bridge that connects Hillside to anywhere because they're so reclusive. And the bridge has Hillside Eyes on one side and Brandy Block Blues on the other side to check people. But if you were to swim across, you specifically, with how good you are at swimming, you could swim across in a minute.
Okay. So.
I mean, very fast swimmer. I think the rest of you might be 5-10 minutes.
So I go back to
I mean, I couldn't swim.
our hillside
At all, yeah.
hillside people, and I go. So we went to Brandy Block for sure. This
Well,
boat.
we had a... Yes, they went and they pursued the boat. And they were arrested by the Brandy Block Blues for jurisdictional imprudence. But by the time they arrived there, the boat had been abandoned. Pierre, the man of the Calbatros Manor, he alerted us to the crime, and we were in pursuit, but cold pursuit at that point. Pierre only saw them get in the boat and returned back from what he told
Pierre
us.
didn't mention a boat.
Well, Pierre doesn't mention a lot of things, I guess.
Mystery is afoot still. Okay. I swim to Brandy Block.
You're going to swim across?
Yeah.
Okay, give me talent plus vigor times 2.
That's 22 dice.
That's amazing.
Holy shit.
That's why I said like a minute.
I got 4 hits.
Okay, with 4 hits,
Me rolling like 9 dice consistently
know.
and getting 1 hit.
it takes you like 3 minutes to get there with
Oh,
that
no.
4 hits.
That's okay.
You swim across,
Yes.
and you get to the other side where you see a couple of Brandy Block Blues standing around a gray skiff that says Rick on it.
Amazing.
There's a bunch of other boats more to the sides. The Brandy Block Blues see you approach. They go, "Hey, frogman, what are you trying to do crossing without crossing the
Hi.
major bridge?
Hi, hello.
What are you doing outside of the salt
My name
pans?"
is Eggbert. I'm a delivery boy detective. I'm here to investigate the Rick boat because I'm looking to solve a murder
Stepping
and
up,
find
you see,
2 awful paintings.
Stepping up, you see Nancy Seville, who you recall as the stern-looking, broad-shouldered woman that was there with the Brandy Block Blues when you first arrived at Calbatros Manor. She walks forward and goes, "That's the frog boy that one of them jokingly said was the leader of the hunters. Come on up,
I am
frog
the
boy."
leader of the hunters. Why do you think I'm the
Yes,
one
yes.
here?
Okay, come up, leader,
Hello?
please. Please, leader, come on up.
Thank you.
They don't offer you a hand or anything.
Oh, well, that's rude, but that's fine. I'm used to it.
Come to see the boat? They point the
Yes.
boat at you. They point you
That's
toward the
great.
boat.
Thank you for the boat. So, do we have any description, any witnesses of people on this boat?
What we have are witnesses of the 4 Hillside Eyes that were investigating the boat in full regalia, and then the Brandy Block Blues took them away. Otherwise, looking at the boat,
The bloat, huh?
I misspoke, okay?
Yeah, well, you're not much of a leader then, huh? I never misspoke.
Looking
Anyway,
at
can
the
I-
boat-
What do they look like? Do we have any description?
What, of the
people
members of
boat?
the Hillside Eyes that were arrested?
No, of the people that were in the boat.
No, we have no description, and the boat is just a gray skiff that was one day white, and it says Rick on it, which I presume was meant to mean something, but God knows what it was meant to mean
It's
when
a
they had
rich
enough money.
man's boat.
Rich man's boat. Yeah, that could be it.
No, that is
Interesting.
it. I just asked the guy who owns it.
Get an experience point for solving the mystery of what was supposed to be written on the boat.
The mystery of the rich man's
I
boat.
really love solving mysteries. See, I'm really good at it. That's why I'm the leader.
Nancy takes out a notepad and clearly scratches out one thing on a notepad that says on it mysteries and then puts it away.
Excellent.
Says, well, that's one thing in the books. We have no information other than that we're trying to stop people from stealing the boat, especially those Hillside Eyes people who keep claiming that the boat is Hillside property. But, of course, it was brought here illegally, so now we own it.
Oh, well, you might want to give it back to the guy that owns it. Apparently, he's hard for money right now.
Well, he can come and claim it himself, I guess. We've had a
Okay.
number of homeless people come over here, claim they want to be interviewed, and they seem to want the boat. So
Oh,
we've been
fascinating.
keeping it safe.
Fascinating.
One of them will take any sandwich that they're given. It's wild.
It is wild out here. Okay, so there's no witnesses to what the thieves / murderers look
Other than Pierre, who claims to have pursued them.
So but the Hillside guys pursue them. You're saying they don't know what they look like?
The Hillside members were told by Pierre what happened, that they absconded in a boat described by Pierre. They tried to pursue, and we arrested them after they had found nothing but the boat sitting here.
Okay.
Pierre is the only one that saw them or
Is there a
claims to see
guard
them.
here?
And Pierre won't speak with us about it. No, there's a guard at the gateway, which is why we knew the Hillside Eyes had crossed.
Well,
but
did he
Is there a
see-
guard right here? He points at the breadth of the canal, like, walkway. It's a massive thoroughfare of,
And
like,
you
carts
didn't
and
see
things.
5 people with
I
2
saw
painting-
nothing.
Okay, well, I'm asking if the guard saw anything.
The Brandy Block is a massive district. We have over 300 officers, but it's not enough to watch every
So-
bit of the canal from the most lucrative and
So
rich
300 of you
neighborhood.
couldn't see 5 people? I'm sorry, 4 carrying 1 person and 2 paintings?
In the middle of a thunderstorm, on the most safe and secure canal edge.
Excuses.
No, there was nobody posted here. There were only guards posted at the bridge, and those guards at the bridge spotted them and alerted people who arrested the Hillside Eyes. But no one saw
So
who got
you
off the
saw
boat.
the other police people, but you didn't see the
Yes,
thieves.
'cause
You
they
guys
crossed-
really don't have your
They
priorities
crossed the
straight
bridge,
very
which
well,
is guarded.
huh?
Sorry that the Hillside isn't able to keep its own crimes contained.
Well, you can't keep the crime contained either because it was on your jurisdiction.
The crimes that have
Well, they
immigrated
escaped
to
you
our
here.
borders, you mean?
Yeah, and you guys can't catch them either?
We're
Neither
doing
one of
our
you are
best.
really good
Perhaps
at your
if
job.
Pierre would talk to us, but Pierre is insistent that he's going to solve the mystery himself for the passing of his dear old aunt.
Well, he's not a very good detective either. Neither are you.
Wonderful, thank you. Is there
Yeah, no
anything
problem.
else, leader of
So
the
literally
hunters?
nobody witnessed these people?
Other than Pierre? No.
Okay.
I'm off. Good luck, hunters. I hope that you don't need my help in the future.
Well,
Says Nancy as
I
Nancy
don't think
turns
it'd be
back
of
to her
much
people.
use.
You end up saying that to no one.
Bloat.
All right, let's go back to the landing. As you're stewing from what Horsemaster just said, you hear shouting from below, "Yoo-hoo! It's me, Hector. I just finished taking my number 2. Armina is cleaning it up.
Has he been gone this whole time?
I want to know if you would like a pre-dinner meal before Desmond Day comes for proper dinner. I'm a little bit peckish for perhaps some quail or something of the sort. Would any of you hunters like some?
Certainly, I am never one to decline an elegant meal, and I can only presuppose the elegance that you would serve in such a fantastic place.
What a hot cake you are, Valencia. Come, sit beside me on this chair that's a bit too small for 2 people. Says-
Now, I need my own chair, for my thighs are quite voluptuous. However,
He takes a fan out and starts
place
fanning
it.
himself.
place it somewhat near your chair.
Somewhat near is the closest I've been to a lady since I escaped from my mother's wretched claptrap.
Oh, God. Jesus. Is that allowed too? God. Really,
The word
odd one
clap
lately.
doesn't mean anything bad. The word trap doesn't mean anything bad.
It depends on what circles you're
Yeah,
rolling
neither
in.
one of these things means anything bad ever. You're correct.
Yeah, I mean, look,
No, you're right, trap has
there
a
are
lot.
very respectable comic relief characters called Claptrap.
So you're brought down into the secondary dining room where there is a large table that is ornamented with several bouquets of flowers. You see some paintings all along the walls, also not in the newer old genre period. These are classic landscapes.
So no genitals.
No genitals whatsoever. No, the genitals were in the office. You are brought into the room. The table is quite large for all of you, but a number of seats are arranged out. A small seat is put in front of you, Horsemaster, but the butler, who is a young man, leans forward and says, "I heard about your condition. This is a chair of many seats. If you sit, it will hold your weight and girth," and holds it in front of you. It is an original from Castagone, a very valuable chair.
Thank you.
All of you are wearing them, but all of you are sitting in them, but none of you need them. Only the big man with 4 legs. His disfigurement requires special accommodation, he says. But I do not mean to blow up your spot. and then heads to the back and says, "So, what would we all like for supper? I have a wonderful ham and a wonderful egg. For dinner later this evening, of course, I have prepared something quite marvelous." Let me see if I have this character. I believe I do. I guess I don't. I thought I had this character. I guess I don't. They say, "For dinner, I have created quite the concoction. What do they say? A old genre fantasy piece. It is the head of a pig, and it is the ass of a lamb, sewn together beautifully with the trachea and gland of a siren, boiled to a simmer, placed upon the top with some gold filament glaze to make quite the enchanting bit of dinner." And then from the corner, with a clap of a cobblestick, an ancient woman goes, "And you have my pipe as well, please?" And the butler bows and goes, "But of course, madam, I have your pipe," and pulls from his back a small pipe which he places at the head of the table, the old woman hobbling over, and she goes, "Is it fresh this time?" Yes, madam, it is fresh. It is fresh, ground fresh this morning," and then winks at all of you, including Hector. She sits down and takes the pipe. Hector leans forward and says, "My mother is quite unwell. It suffers from illusions of reality. She finds that smoking the ground-up bits of leprechaun helps to ease the pain. Are your leprechaun flakes quite good, mother?" She... Quite good, Hector, quite good. Now, when is Holt coming for dinner? I do miss my husband. He's been away. And Hector leans forward and says, "And she doesn't realize that her husband's dead, of course, but that's because she's quite stupid and smokes a lot of leprechaun grind." Now, leprechauns, of course, we haven't seen leprechauns since the great signing of the Hunter's oath that made the Fey things leave this world. So, well, we have a more dried bits of what we presume are leprechauns and some other sort of herbs and crustaceans and such. But, you know, it makes her feel lucky, and so it is what it is. What are you gonna do? But what would we like? I think, dear butler, tuna sandwiches? Tuna salad sandwiches? Is that what you want?
No, there'll be no tuna for me.
Okay, well then what do you want, Horsemaster?
I don't know. It's a bread and a slice of horse or something. Just figure it out. Anything. Just replace the protein. Sorry, I don't mean to be disgusting here.
Then,
but
please sear the bread slices in at least some butter. Very well, very well. And horse and bread slices for the rest of you on the way.
Certainly, keep my horse quite rare.
A rare horse for the missus. Yes. And the butler leaves. And Hector turns around and says, "So, where have you been off to while I've been taking my epic shit?"
Jesus Christ.
Well, Horsemaster certainly has been taking an epic shit of their own.
Pardon me, I think we need not discuss this. We've been doing some good investigating, sir, and we're quite close to finding your piece of shit paintings. Fuck, I just remembered I hate this
shit
fucker.
painting. My piece of... That painting is part of my life, sir. That painting is one of my original characters, painted in the new genre style,
God.
which is going to be famous. What do you mean, one of my pieces of shit?
Now, sir, now, sir.
I can't witness this creature.
Because certainly one of the subtexts of Boy with Apple, is Boy with Apple?
Boy with Apple was not painted by me. It was painted by Lucas Valdano, master of the Old Kingship Cycle.
Right.
It's like Really Rising with the Dawn was painted by Callier Bonnier at my inspiration.
Yes, what I was going to say was that Boy with Apple, clearly an overtone of shitty painting, present throughout that. You can see in the skill, far inferior to Willie Rising with the Dawn, which, if you talk about a piece of shit, the subtlety with which you nestled the horse turd in the bush in that painting.
Good Lord.
Honestly, quite inspired.
Charm times 2.
Every one of you is fucking disgusting.
3 hits.
I was trying to be inclusive with that little bit. I thought, why not let the scatheads in as well as all of the others?
Absolutely, and only a person of
The scat
quite
man.
an advanced artistic education would pick up on it.
Valencia, I like you a lot, especially how you stick up for me when everybody else makes fun of me. It gets me quite aroused.
I can see that.
Well, I'm glad that you can see it.
And I think at this point I probably give Chadwick a little.
Yeah, his body is
Reassurance.
rock hard intense. The
He's
horse
feeling
slices.
some type of way. I'm trying to soothe Chadwick.
The horse slices and bread come quickly. They were at the ready. And Hector, upon putting a bib in, looks at his and goes, "And Butler, I'll have you know, talking about shits, your wife is busy cleaning up one of my biggest." "Oh, well done, sir. Well done." And then wanders out. What was that? Says Helena at the end. What was that about shit? Everyone's laughing. I want to know what the joke was. Nobody. Well, fine. And she starts smoking more of the leprechaun bits.
So, yeah. Just since since we're talking the paintings, just one quick thing to cross my mind. How are the alarms actually secured? Who's been looking after them?
The alarms?
Yeah.
Well, it was my father's old study, my study now, so I suppose he was looking after them at the time, and now I look after them with this. And he pulls out a little playing card. It's got the crown of kings there in his hand, and he holds it up and he says, "All I need to do is hold this and think about each painting, and the painting's alarm turns on and off. But of course, if somebody tries to take it without my wishes, then of course they go off, right?
Yeah.
That's how the alarms went off, and then my father was shot."
Yeah. Which alarm did go off that night? Can you actually
Well,
tell?
all of them, I presume. The paintings were stolen.
Okay, interesting.
Why?
No, because it's just the Bugman was only working on one painting, so it's
What?
just-
But he said he was going to charge me for 2.
Oh, he was working on the one when you were there. Did I miss something?
Well, I didn't watch him work. What am I, a horse or whatever?
Oh.
Something that watches people work?
I mean,
Yes, but I think
What in the hell?
perhaps what my colleague is inquiring is the paintings that were stolen were the only 2 alarms that went off. None of the others in the study. Presumably, they all had alarms on them. Yes, you seem as though you are a man.
Well,
who
yeah,
keeps
but all
a
2
tight
were
security ship.
stolen, so who cares
So
if 2 alarms went off?
Did 2 alarms go off? Did more? Did less?
I
What we are
assume 2
wondering-
went off. Why wouldn't 2 go off?
no, I'm kind of curious to see how much time they'd have to steal the paintings, and why they didn't steal more if art theft was the aim.
Well, I presume that what Pierre says is that one of them, my father entered upon the... Look, as I said before, I was eating my Wheaties downstairs. I heard the alarms go off. Then I heard a shot go off. I assume Pierre had shot whoever it was. Only later, to my deep dismay, did I find out it was my father who had shot. I'm sure they would have stolen all of the paintings, if only for having to leave, for seeing the might of Pierre.
Yeah. Oh, on the notice of the shot. I mean, I'm very sorry to ask, but what happened to the body? And has
Well,
that
the body was cremated at my wishes. And then we had a fanciful burial.
did no one did anybody investigate the body to try and figure out?
Well, the hillside eyes came through and they looked at the body.
Okay. Do you know who did? Do you know who it was?
They all wear masks, don't
Yeah.
they? Desmond might know, but they all wear masks. They said that he was shot, and I take them at their word. Also,
Okay.
he was bloody, and Pierre said he was shot.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of curious, what it was, because again, shotgun different from a pistol, but.
Oh, you want to know? Pierre knows all that. I don't need to be bothered with that. My parents were in the gun manufacturing business, but, I don't need to know a gun to sell a gun. Besides, I'm an artist,
Yes.
I'm much more interested in expanding the Calbatross name into the fine arts that they deserve now, finally, that my father, rest his soul, has passed. Ironically, during an art theft, which I guess proves the point of why art's more valuable than guns.
Yeah.
Though I guess he was killed by a gun, which complicates the metaphor.
Now, did your father himself have any interest in producing art, or was it purely a collective attitude that he had towards it?
My father, he was proud of me for kickstarting the old genre period. We made a lot of money when I purchased Catboy and Apple and showed it around at the fanfare. There was a run on the old genre period after that. He had some skepticism about the new genre period, and Callier was very expensive to procure, but he would have come around to the realization that it was valuable. Now, I know that the Gibberlings were a problem for a moment, but, you know, Gibberlings are a problem for us all, aren't they?
Certainly.
How
The
was
fact that these small beings continue to inflict themselves upon our realm.
They usually leave us
Utterly
alone during the
distasteful.
day, so we've been luckily free of them. Since the murder happened, they've actually been only around at night to pester me while I try to sleep.
Were they showing up more before the murders?
Oh gosh, all the time. They were obsessed with Willie rising with the dawn. They kept trying to take it off the wall and kept trying to look at it close up. And of course it was behind my father's desk, and so he was constantly bothered by work because there were Gibberlings all in the place trying to get a look at that horse. Which
Now,
I
now.
see as a sign.
Whomst
A-
among us would not be trying to get a better
Exactly.
look at that horse?
An idiot's intellect is the truest sign of a trend to come. I knew Willie was rising with the dawn would be good when Gibberling upon Gibberling were constantly haranguing my father at work, trying to get a look at that horse dick.
Yeah, did they keep setting off the alarm by being too close and keep fingering the bloody painting?
Gibberlings are weird. Sometimes they
Said
can.
there was any fingering going on. Good Christ!
I assure you, there was fingering going on.
Look, Horsemaster, if there are Gibberlings involved, there is fingering involved.
Fingerings?
Let's just be honest.
Fingerings and member comparisons and plenty of licking to go around. Set the alarm out. Well, the alarm, I suppose they often put their grubby little fingers on it, but they didn't always take it off. But I suppose the alarm did go off a couple of times in the early days.
Yeah,
Yes.
interesting. Gibberlings, man. Strange creatures.
Stick around long enough at night, they'll keep me awake. If you hang out with me in my bedroom, you'll see. They don't bother me. They keep asking me to make another Willie. They're obsessed with that horse.
Yeah.
I do miss it, though. The attention, the accolade. As I said before, the painting had fans. Well, these were the fans.
And so, you are, to confirm, you are the only one blessed with artistic talent in your family. Yes, your father had no such.
I appreciate you understanding that despite the fact that I cannot draw a stick figure with my hand, the artistic talent lays in the brain. I am an idea man. An idea man full of original characters that the world cannot wait to see.
Look, as a woman full of ideas, I can certainly relate. I think what
I
we are
doubt you can.
trying to. Whatever you say, man.
So,
What I am trying to discern is whether your father, your tragically late father, had any hand in any of the artworks we saw in the study.
No, I had a hand in all of them. My father
All
put
of
them in
them,
his-
you say?
Yes,
Every
the
single one?
new genre periods I either procured from new artists or Callier or another artist made, and all of the old genre period paintings I purchased myself. I saw my father put them in his study, proud of my... Well, look, maybe I had to convince him a little bit to put the new genre period paintings in, but the old genre, he was very proud of me. He thought for the longest time I'm going to stay at home, candles all night, just writing my fictional stories about my original characters. But then I bought Timothy Rising with the Dawn, and I was able to...
It's Willie, you
Willie!
fool!
I was able to, with Willie Rising with the Dawn, Timothy's a new one, it's coming. With Willie...
I'm sure something is coming in the picture, yes.
You'll see it's bigger and better than before. Willie Rising with the Dawn was not one of his favorites. Neither were any of my other ones. You know, Serpent with a bunch of clams. As well as Horse that's stuck in a wall while people admire and consider what to do about it. Those he didn't like as much, but I convinced him to put the stuck paintings as well as the other paintings in the room.
Stock painting.
And the horse is stuck, and everybody's looking at the backside of it, considering potentialities.
Is it
So
also
would
the
you say that your father was
Stepladder.
supportive of your talents, or
Well, he was very supportive of the new old genre period. We made quite a bit of money, and I was the toast of the art world. The new, they haven't figured it
not
out
the
yet.
new.
You have to wait 100 years before people realize that the irony of the old is the genius of the new, or whatever. They said that the paintings were too sincere, too libidinal. That the horse boy had a tiny apple, which makes you consider the potentialities. By showing Willie with the dawn, we see everything. As if I had put a big eggplant in front of him, it would have been so much more subtle. Fuck the art world. Fuck the art world. My gibberlings love me, and they understand a good... Sorry, I got...
look? As a woman who is a patron of the arts, I certainly understand the lagging of the times. What I am
That I can
wondering is
believe.
absolutely.
Just-
So would you say that your father? Would you say that your father was an obstacle then? It seems as though he was a man who had some poor taste, perhaps some regressive opinions.
He
perhaps
was skeptical.
He was stymieing your career in some
No,
way.
a skeptical, not an obstacle. I think my success in the past earned me a lot of goodwill, and he hung the paintings. He did.
The paintings were well hung, yes.
They were getting more hung. Wait till you see Timothy. I think the gibberlings were the biggest problem, I suppose. Really, at
They
the end of the day.
certainly are a big problem.
He wanted me to take up the arms business. His rival is always nipping at the heels of you see. But he wanted me to take the business up, and I was more into the arts. He was disappointed about that. But aside from Willie and the gibberling problem, he was tolerant, I would say. Tolerant ignorantly.
So what are your next great big ventures in the arts?
Timothy, I keep mistaking it. Timothy, it's going to be like Willie, but bigger and better, with
Okay.
more veins, and perhaps instead of just a turd in the bushes, there'll be a turd and a gibberling. Just a little wink to the fans.
Let's see.
Good artists think about their fans.
Let's see. Interesting. In any case,
Hi, hello, I'm back.
Eggbert wanders into the room. The moccasins are completely filthy now
And
from
they're
having
s-
wandered
soaking
around
wet.
and soaking wet from swimming.
Hi, hello.
Utterly
This dinner
drenched.
looks very lovely.
Do you just wander in and sit down?
Yeah.
There's
I'm
a-
really hungry. This is really cool.
There's a raw, untouched horse sandwich in front of Valencia.
Are you gonna eat that?
Valencia, are you going to eat the
Are you
horse
gonna
sandwich?
eat that?
No.
Can I have it? Can I have it?
Only because you asked so nicely.
Wow, thank you.
There you
Big
are.
sandwich.
You start eating it. It tastes awesome.
Yeah, it's really tight. The sandwich. So apparently they got away on a boat.
yep. Sound wet. So across the hill, across the brookside.
Yeah, I swam.
Brandy block it up. Roxanne.
Brandy
Brandy
block.
Log. I keep.
Swam. They're kind of useless over there.
So
They didn't witness anything, but they brag about 300 guards, and they just didn't see anything.
might have to check with some of the street folk over there,
Well,
or some of the river rats.
Well, listen, if we're sharing information, the painter upstairs did it or didn't, I'm not sure, but I got fucking stabbed. So basically, I'm as good or better than you, so you'll be getting no more sympathy now.
oh, someone stabbed you? I'm sad I missed that. Anyway, so the boat, no one...
You certainly did miss out, which was quite riveting.
Sad. Bummer. Anyway,
Please continue.
went on the boat, and only Pierre is the only witness, apparently. Can't believe no one guards the boats. Don't rich people live here? It's crazy.
You start to hear steps coming down the stairs, heavy foot steps that you can assume are Pierre's, not Callier's. Do any of you have any other questions for Hector before Pierre re-enters? Look at you, Lieutenant Captain.
Nope, not right now.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
So with that, Pierre steps back into the room, touching the doublet, like tugging it firmly into place, and takes a stand behind Hector. You're all seated here Helena Calbatros smoking the leprechaun pipe on the one end of the room, Hector on the other side of the table, Valencia seated nearby next to Eggbert, and Chadwick, Horsemaster, on the other side, the lieutenant captain. I suppose this entire time Mary McIntyre's been here, but Mary has spoken up not at all. It's just been taking notes, I suppose.
I think she's been taking an eye around the scene as well.
Oh, right. Very good. Mary's been taking a look around, and you hear a knock at the door, which you could presume is Desmond Day-Lewis here for dinner. So Desmond is now on the screen. So with that being said, I believe it's time to end part 2 of the mystery at Catboy Manor. We have learned quite a bit more about what potentially happened, but who caused the crime eludes us still, despite the aggressive efforts of Horsemaster.
Well,
I think Horsemaster caused the crime that occurred tonight.
That's true.
No. I mean, as we all know, police interrogating a suspect never goes wrong. It's never a crime, never convicted, and you're innocent until convicted. So, as we all know, no crime occurred in this particular scene because we're all coppers, and that's just how it happens, isn't it?
Brutal.
Look, I don't identify as a cop, but I will take the power that comes with it.
Does anybody else have anything that they want to go over before we depart for the evening?
Man, all I say is dude, that was great chaos artisting from across the table over there.
Wait,
I was trying to get things done, I'll have you know. Blew up my fucking face.
I'm proud of us. We did good tonight.
Oh.
This was probably the worst we've ever done.
Why don't you let everybody know who you are once again, and then we'll depart for the evening.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I am CEO, entrepreneur, born in 1964, Jeffrey Bezos, of course.
There we are.
Good night.
Boom.
I'm Bill Gates, and I'm here to tell you that The Wire is total fiction.
I'm demoting myself. My name is Alec, and I play Horsemaster Youngster Newborn.
I'm still Steve Jobs, and I might be back.
Yeah, maybe you're alive now.
Well, we're down 1 billionaire, but I've still got 3 more, so hopefully I'll be rich by the time we come back, and then we'll never have another episode of The Wizard Hole because I'll be rich and I'll be over all you fuckers. Thank you, Steve Jobs, for coming back from the grave for this. Thank you, Bill Gates. Thank you, Jeff Bezos.
Don't thank Jeff Bezos.
Alex, don't come back. Alec, don't come back next time
nothing but
until
a
you
fuck
become a
you.
billionaire. I love you all. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for the new followers. We'll be back next Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. EST for more high production value on the fucking Wizard Hole. No, we have no description, and the boat is just a gray skiff that was one day white, and it says Rick on it, which I presume was meant to mean something, but God knows what it was meant to mean when they had enough money.
It's a rich man's boat.
Rich man's boat. Yeah, that could be it.
No, that is
Interesting.
it. I just asked the guy who owns it.
Get an experience point.